Greetings from Carbondale.
Hello, I'm Dina Hahn.
And I'm Eva Fisher.
And together we're called Deva. We're so thrilled that you're here to join us today on the second episode of Greetings from Carbondale.
Yeah, this is our podcast where we talk about all the happenings in Carbondale, past and present. So we're here today with some folks. We got Adam Fletcher of Carbondale Main Street and local musician. And then we got David from David and the Happenings.
Yes, David Siegfried.
Yes, hey David Siegfried. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being with us. So we're going to dive into telling you about an awesome event coming up that David is a part of, that Adam has helped orchestrate, and that's going to be a big reunion show. We're going to talk about some history of the Carbondale music scene, as well as some amazing things coming up for the future of our Carbondale music scene.
Yeah, we just thought this would be a great opportunity to connect again with this huge event that's coming to celebrate a 40th anniversary. So we're really excited to just give you the insights of the past of Carbondale and what's to come here in just a couple weeks.
Yeah, so with all that being said, let's launch into this event.
How did we get here?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Are we all here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I helped orchestrate this. There's a group of... Okay. There used to be a club under the basement of ABC Liquor.
Uh-huh.
It went through several different names. It was T-Birds in its last era. But for a short time between 83 to 85, it was called Airwaves. And it was short-lived, but it was a new wave goth bar.
Again, located under ABC Liquors.
In the basement of ABC Liquor. But I was very interested in this era because the audacity for somebody in 1983 to open up a goth new wave bar in the basement of ABC Liquor in Carbondale was like pretty wild. But also like a lot of bands came through there. Violent Femmes played there, and REM hung out there, and all these people came through, and Ministry played there, you know. But that group of people up in Chicago who had the Airwaves crew had a get-together every year for the last, 5 or 6 years or so. And there was a Facebook group for it. And it was like, we're doing this Airwaves reunion thing. This year, I had convinced them to bring it to Carbondale.
Yes.
Love it.
Well, it's been 40 years since it closed. But also, it closed when the club closed. Now, the club was located where the Booby's beer garden is. That used to be a building, and it was a bar called the Club that opened in 1963.
Wow.
So think about that. It burned down in 85, but it opened in 63, and it had been a place for live music, not the entire time, but a lot of it.
Not the old, now the new Boobies. So it's in that same area.
Yeah,
so
that
you're
same
talking about
spot.
iconic strip.
So that had been 40 years since that closed, and since Boobies has reopened and that location is there, and I had become friendly with David and Jason Ringenberg and some of the people that were regulars at the club back in the day. Mm-hmm. I wanted to try to combine that all together. Because in my mind it all makes sense. I know that there was probably different scenes happening at that time, like between, the clubs and the inner politics of bands, but in my mind everybody was here at the same time, and it all had kind of the same impact on the music scene. And also I just wanted Carbondale to celebrate our musical past more.
Oh, absolutely.
You get rugby guys get to come back and do their stuff every year, or alumni of some kind, and I'm really trying to get more of an alumni of Carbondale art and musicians to want to come back and celebrate their time here.
Yes.
So I orchestrated this weekend, July 26th. It's a reunion for Airwaves and the club, and I got a handful of bands to get back together and play.
Amazing.
And David's one of them.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you're talking about just the music scene in general and that growth that we're all working towards right now, we really need to pay that homage and that respect to the past that brought us to this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So really shining that light. I'm so grateful that you felt called to bring this to fruition. So thank you, Adam, for curating this.
Also, I want to say it's easy whenever the people involved want to do it.
Of course.
Absolutely.
So it wasn't like I was,
Well, it's not like I exactly wanted to do it in the beginning.
It took a little bit of work. Give yourself some credit. Yeah.
But I didn't have to I didn't tempt you with any. It was just like, okay, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. That's fine. Anybody who wants to do it, be involved, please. But
Yeah,
I almost
absolutely.
didn't do it.
but I made it easy for him, and he didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
We'll have to dive into that story as
Oh,
well.
absolutely.
But then Adam offered to put together a backing band for me.
Okay,
And then I
fantastic.
was like, well, how can I turn that down?
Yeah.
You know?
So
And I was still on the fence, but the thing that in my mind that made me think that I should do it was, if I don't do this, I'm probably going to regret it for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah, this is becoming now a part of Carbondale history. Like
Right.
this, as we're talking about this history of the music scene, we can look at this as that puzzle piece of what we're looking at today. All right, so you're David in the Happenings. This is that
Right.
group. So I would love to hear some about the origin of that, your journey, your experience with the Carbondale music
Well,
scene.
I have a semi-famous brother. His
Okay.
name is James Chance.
Okay.
He came up through the CBGBs in New York.
Amazing.
And it was James Chance and the Contortions initially, and then he had his alter ego James White and the Blacks, which was a disco, his version of disco,
Love
of this sort of funk punk jazz that he played.
That's so cool.
So he's the real musician in the family. But I always looked up to him.
Yeah.
And he influenced me a lot. He tried to get me to come to New York, and I said, yeah, Mom and Dad can't have two starving artists in New York. I'm sorry, James, I have to finish my college. But then I was kind of alone in Carbondale as being like, because it was really the punk rock, the beginnings of punk rock.
What year?
77, 78,
Okay.
79.
Great.
So I'm walking down campus with my skinny tie, cropped hair sticking up, dyed red, and everyone's just looking at me quizzically. They don't, either that or they're going, punk rock sucks.
Right.
But then, like, as time went on, I started to meet my tribe.
Totally.
You know, and new people started coming on the scene. The old guard would graduate, and there'd be a whole new fresh crop of students, and a lot of them were into that kind of
Yeah.
music. So I met my tribe, and we had all these dance parties, and we kept joking around that we were going to form this band. And then this friend of mine, J.J. Jackson, came in from Wichita, Kansas, and he was a drummer, and the two of us just instantly like became best friends.
Yeah.
And he knew who my brother was. Nobody knew who James was back then. And we just sat on the couch talking. And he's like, I'm going to move here. So he
Yes.
moved to Carbondale explicitly to form a band. And that's when
Amazing.
we formed this band, David and the Happenings.
See, and that's just such a rich story too. When you talk about Carbondale, you talk about that energy. There's something about it. We always say that it's a vortex, or they all come back. Really though, because we have those fostered relationships that you can make. You can find your tribe in Carbondale.
Right.
It's kind of unlike any other place,
It really is. Whenever you leave Carbondale, you always talk about, you reminisce about Carbondale for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Oh,
And
absolutely.
I met my best friend here, Bill Wild, who made this shirt.
Oh,
Very
beautiful.
cool.
And we called him Wild Bill. He was a jeweler. He made, really crazy jewelry. He was an artist. He did all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And paying tribute to him because he died last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, very, very cool to carry that on.
Yeah.
And yeah, to see that, just that eclectic grouping when you meet these people and you're all able to express yourself in so many different outlets, right? Like you
Right.
find those musicians who also are those artists who can help you with your posters and your album
all
covers
that.
and all
It was
of it.
just such
Yeah.
a creative time for that artistic, expression.
Yeah.
Even people that weren't in bands. I mean, just the way they dressed, danced. I mean, there was all this new music coming on the scene at that
Yeah.
time.
So it sounds like we kind of have you to thank for getting the punk rock seeds planted, huh?
Yes.
Well, I introduced Carbondale to stage diving.
Yeah.
That was one of my contributions.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, David walked so people like me could run.
Yeah,
Wow, I
absolutely. Well, because
I mean, I can't imagine what it would be like in 1978 walking around with cropped hair and just trying to. People think you're an alien.
I was a pariah.
Yeah.
And
It's not
people
like
were
it's not like
whispering.
Alien.
it's not like that any of the music was on the radio. Like there's no access to it.
It was
unless-
practically banned from the radio.
That's what I mean,
They wouldn't
so-
play the Ramones.
Right.
Even the Talking Heads weren't on the radio.
There's really like that stuff is like from Mars.
Yeah.
You either knew about it or you didn't.
Yeah, right.
And Carbondale knew about it once those seeds had been planted.
Right, yeah,
once you
yeah.
kind of
You brought
pushed
it-
that
you
brought it
north.
here.
You brought it
Yeah.
there.
You brought it here.
You said,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
we deserve to have this recognition as well. We deserve to play here. And you did that. So what a great culture to be able to
Yeah.
create here. Thank you for
yeah.
that.
Who got their foot in the door at the club to play
Probably
like
JJ because he.
with Riff Raff, and or was that later?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's kind of murky.
Okay.
The first venue we played was Hangar 9.
Okay.
But you know, there was an establishment of musicians here already, and some really good ones like Big Twist and the Mellow Fellows and
Cold Kitchen.
Cold Kitchen. But some of them weren't too pleased about us moving in on their turf.
Okay. Yeah, so you came in, started mixing it up a bit, introducing
And
the
we had
genre.
a whole new group of fans too
Yeah.
that they hadn't been exposed to because they were the old guard, and so there was a little bit of tension there between those musicians and us.
Did you see that get worked out after a while as that started expanding?
Well, we
that
started
fan
to
base?
mix a little more as time went on, and started like they stole 2 of my drummers.
As it happens. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Drummers are always in high demand.
Oh, man.
One thing I think that is really interesting about the happenings is that at the time whenever your brother is in New York City creating what we know as no wave, basically, right?
Yeah.
You're in Carbondale doing kind of a very similar thing.
Yeah, although, hello, I never thought of myself as riding his coattails. Really.
Of course not. Well, yeah, because at the time, were there any coattails to ride? It was
Yeah.
very early
Not
on.
really.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So he wasn't like signed to a major label at that time,
No.
or out touring. So it's interesting to me that both things were happening at the same time, and one being and again, it's like you're at that age where you're young enough that you can get on stage and embarrass yourself without like any
Without being self-conscious.
exactly
Yeah.
right. And
Right.
so it's harder to get adults to get out there to do that kind of stuff, and you're young and you're finding your tribe, so you're more willing to just be outgoing and be crazy, but which adds to the entertainment of the music. But just the
You
idea
don't even think about it.
you don't think about it, but in hindsight you can see these things. But
Right.
I think it's really interesting that what was happening at the same time period, your brother's doing that in New York and making a large impact, and you're doing it here in Carbondale and making an impact, but it's on a much smaller scale, right?
Right, sure.
Well,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, that's
I was just going to say the times too and how we share that information, right? Like
Right.
you're talking the 70s, so you're talking about not having the internet, the ability to communicate
Right.
these subcultures that are happening simultaneously. And so
I didn't even have a phone back then.
Right, right. So you're talking about really just building from the ground up. So when it came to those cultures and it came to those shows, you had mentioned about finding your tribe. What did the avenue of like media outlook look like? Was it posters in the quad? Like how did that
It
come
was
to?
mostly word of mouth. Like
Okay.
you walked in, like for instance, there was a club called Silver Ball, which became the Great Escape. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
That's the 611 building. That's Saucy's.
Oh, cool.
That's Saucy's,
Okay,
and it was Fat
yeah.
Patty's.
Yeah.
One day I walked into Silver Ball, and there's a guy, this skinny guy behind bartending and like flipping records and playing records, and he played something that was like, oh wow, that's new music. It was Joe Shanahan. Well, I don't know if you know who Joe Shanahan is. He owns Metro in Chicago. He's
Oh,
like
wow.
a big deal in Chicago now, but at the time he was just this skinny kid. And I go, hi, what's your name? What's that you're playing? And he goes, oh, I'm Joe Shanahan. Who are you? And I said, well, I'm David Siegfried, and you probably haven't heard of my brother. His name is James Chance. He goes, are you kidding? I've seen him. And I
Incredible.
was like, okay.
That's so great.
This is the connection.
Yes.
See, and those are the connections that we come across all the time in this area. So I love that you were able to have that moment, and now that you live in Chicago as well, do you all keep in contact? And
Joe and I are still friends. I mean,
Exactly.
he was spinning records just the other day in this little restaurant that has it's like a record restaurant. I don't know
Cool.
if you know about these. They have a stereo and
Sounds like we need one here.
yeah, we definitely need one here.
Yeah.
We'll have to look into that.
and it was in my neighborhood, and we went out, just hung out with them.
See, so that everlasting connection from right here in the
Yeah,
heart
from
of
Those
Carbondale.
Carbondale connections. Yeah, they're special.
They really are.
Yeah, and we're connecting all of these bands who we saw at these venues. So again, just to throw out the event here, we've got the Club Airwaves reunion at Booby's on July 26th. It's going to open at 5, bands at 6 p.m. So we got David and the Happenings, the Boppin 88s, Tawl and Slappin Henry Blue, who we see a lot around here still, and 4 on the Floor.
Yeah.
Right.
So what bands of these groups, what's your connection to these guys?
Well, the Boppin 88s evolved from players that were in Jason Ringenberg's band.
Awesome. We've got to
Shakespeare's Riot.
bring him back a few
and
times
you
in
know
Carbondale.
who Jason is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's great.
so these are the people that stayed behind when he went to Nashville, and they formed the Boppin 88s.
Awesome.
So they're friends of mine. I've heard of 4 on the Floor, but I'm just not as familiar with that group.
They were a band of the time. They played the club. Robbie Stokes played with 4 on the Floor.
Oh, Robbie Stokes.
Awesome.
But I mean, a lot of people played with
He's
4
a
on the Floor.
Carbondale legend.
Oh, absolutely.
Robbie, yeah.
Yeah.
But 4 on the Floor that was a band that was around for a while. Peyton Blewett
Okay.
and a few other guys. It's a Carbondale staple.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to have them back together. And Tawl is still playing.
Oh, yep.
So he played the club with the Blooze back in the day. I think that was the name of the band he had then.
It's amazing he's still around.
He's still with us.
Still
That's
with us,
so
still
great.
going
It's
strong.
so incredible.
Still
it really
doing
is
it.
iconic.
Still doing it.
That's so
Yeah.
great.
Child. Still
Still doing
shaking his thing, child.
Kicked off the new year doing a New Year's Eve show. I can't remember exactly where, but I know. He brought us into the new year.
He also came and performed at the homecoming concert where we got to close down the strip.
yeah.
We put a stage in the middle of the strip for homecoming. It may be a new tradition for homecoming.
Yeah.
Definitely going to do that again this year. But yeah, Tawl came up with the Jungle Dogs for their farewell show. So yeah, just so exciting to see these names. So excited to welcome back people from all over. So if you were a part of, the groups back here at the Airwaves or the club, feel free to come out to this event. It's going to be such a great time just to kind of morph all of these legends back here in Carbondale at Booby's, which is now reopened. So what a great way to celebrate the 40th anniversary.
Yeah, put everybody
absolutely.
back in the same little room where it used to be. Yeah.
Well, and I haven't performed in Carbondale, if you can believe it, for 43 years.
Oh, wow.
I still have my youthful little
Definitely. Well, we're so happy that you have come back for this experience and that you were able to take time today to connect too. We just really want to showcase what it was like and really tell people how far we've come as Carbondale with us building that new stage downtown. I know Adam was an instrumental part of us being able to seek
some of
that
that.
project from the city's end. So yeah, just lots of exciting times ahead, lots of celebrations. What would you like to see in Carbondale now that you're back? Is there anything that's on your list of
I want to see Adam thrive. I want to see his venue just take
Oh,
off.
thanks.
incredible?
I tried to drive him by his old haunts, his old.
They're all torn
Then
down.
he's like, "Oh, they're all torn down." Like, you want to see the old place? Oh, it's long gone. Like, okay, well, yeah, got nothing for you. Everything's new.
Funny.
Everything's new. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm excited that people are excited to come back, and I'm offering up the opportunity. For
I mean,
people
if
to
you
come
can
and-
generate some interest, because when I came here for the eclipse, I got to tell you, it was kind of a sad day for me to walk down the strip and compare it to my memories of all the clubs
Yeah,
that were
well,
open.
that'll never be that again.
Well, no, of course not. I mean, back then the drinking age was 19.
It won't be that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the eclipse, you're you're speaking on was the 2017
This was the
eclipse.
earlier one. Yeah, the
Yeah.
2017
So
one.
we were able to welcome some folks back in 2024 as of our last eclipse. Like we get them often here. But just even from the 2017 to 2024, so much has changed on the strip. So I'm excited that you're now
Absolutely.
back here in
I'm anxious to
2025.
see.
Yes.
We
The
brought
changes.
we brought a lot of live music downtown for the 2024 eclipse. We
Yeah.
had buskers lining the street. Buskers in quotes. We curated the
Yes.
lineup.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was a really great energy, and yeah, we've seen in the past couple of years. I mean. Nationally, right? We all went through the same collective thing called COVID, and everything kind of shifted, right? And I'm excited to be sitting with all of you on this couch and talking about the past, present, and future of our Carbondale music scene, because we see these ebbs and flows. We're talking about these clubs that don't exist anymore, and clubs that we saw, go dark for a while and now back, like Boobies, and we're talking about Hanger, which just had a brief little hiatus,
Right.
and we're getting to see that built back up and come back to life at the end of the summer. So it excites me to see, nothing gets to stay shiny as we know it, and perhaps it's shinier
There's
in our memories.
to everything.
Yeah, and that's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And now we get to bring these bands back, and I know, Dina, you're like, oh, if you were around, come and visit this. If you weren't around, come and visit
Right,
too.
that's the other thing, too.
It's
is,
history, and it's the present,
Right.
and it's the future.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of it together.
It's all
Once.
connected to
Altogether.
it's all connected in my mind.
Yeah.
somehow,
Well, and that's
so.
where, we get to show to newer students, like you had mentioned, you have that wave of students that come through each
Right.
time. So you
Every-
get a
Oh, yeah,
new
it's a
wave
different
every
crowd.
year.
Yeah.
And so this is our opportunity again to show that history and invite all those new students to come, because they may be in the same boat that you were, where they may not have found their tribe just yet. And then
Right.
maybe
It
this
takes
event
time.
would spark it. It definitely takes
if they
time.
come out, I wrote a song especially for the event, and it pays
Oh.
tribute to all the clubs that were around
Cool.
during that time,
Oh, I
and
love
as
it.
well as Hangar 9.
Yes.
And I think they're going to enjoy that.
Yes. Oh,
Do you have
that's
a
so great.
title of that song that you want to share
Yeah,
with us?
well,
A little
see,
insight?
On campus we had a really nice cinema, and I got my education there of Fellini movies.
Cool.
And so one of the Fellini movie is La Dolce Vita. And JJ, who I often bring up because he was sort of the MC, the grand master of our band, he would get the crowd to dance, and he'd make up these dances. And one of the
Incredible.
dances he made up was the La Dolce Vita. Come on,
Oh,
let's
so
do the La
fun.
Dolce Vita. And he would demonstrate it and stuff. So it's called Let's Do La Dolce Vita.
I am obsessed. That sounds incredible.
I cannot
Yeah.
wait. You're talking to a
Um,
couple dancers here.
I was just about to
yeah.
say, are we about to learn the dance ahead of time? Are we going to be experts up there? No, it sounds like a
Yes.
really fun time, and engaging the crowd in that way is always such a fun time. We had the Sunset Concerts, which is every Thursday right now. It's our free concerts in the community with SIU. Last week we had a huge dancing crowd for Jose Estrada band. It was incredible. So their dancing shoes are ready.
Yeah.
By the time
Okay.
the show is happening,
Better be.
everyone's skills have been, put to work and good use at these shows. So we hope to show up as Carbondale and do the La Voce?
It's a little bit of a tongue twister, but I've sang it enough that I can do it.
Yes.
Do the La Dolce Vita.
Do the La
Come on,
Dolce
Mamacita,
Vita.
do the La Dolce Vita.
Yes.
Jump into my arms and fly with me, Lolita.
Oh, beautiful. I can't wait to hear
Yeah.
that. That's going to be such an incredible experience.
Are you going to get the crowd screaming too? I saw a video that Adam sent along to me of
We're
the
doing
scream.
the scream.
Yes.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Yes, I feel like I know it already. I think we all could collectively release some good screams together.
Yes.
And then I had a song that sort of projected. What's the word? It predicted in a way the COVID-19 thing. It's called Microbes in Action, and it's
Okay.
yeah, it's a warning. It was a warning back in the '80s. It was before AIDS.
Yep.
That was a warning about pandemics and microbes and things like that.
Wow.
Of course, I guess we were due for a pandemic, but
Yeah, sure.
it had to come eventually.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's timely and relevant in many times, it
Right.
seems.
Yeah. Oh, how fun though.
I'm curious, like at this time you're playing and there's these clubs, because like now we still have these like DIY, like punk houses going strong. So was anything like that kind of happening yet?
A little bit, and it was all Joe Shanahan's doing. He had a punk night at Silver Ball. And then a few months later, he had a Punk is Dead night. We already declared it dead in 1978.
Well, let's start here, though. I would maybe say that the early new wave, it wasn't even new wave, it was punk, parties that you had at your house.
Yeah.
Well, there was a friend of mine, John Smith, and his roommate Rhonda, and they threw the best parties.
But there probably weren't like a lot of other houses that were spinning punk singles at the dance
this
party.
was our thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would say that kind of like house party scenario probably started in your
Yeah, that's
that probably did, honestly.
we danced till dawn.
Like, that is so rich, honestly, because you're right. It started from just engaging in your normal activities.
So both Airwaves, Airwaves was more of, I guess, the underground punky thing, and the club had some of that.
Right.
But they both closed in '85. So if you wanted to get into the house show culture that we have, Lost Cross started in '86.
Okay.
Cool.
House of Voodoo and those other places popped up around the same time. So it was like, once there was it's like whack-a-mole always with this sort of stuff.
Right.
But once it was gone from the strip, that's when things kind of went underground in basements a little bit more as far as punk culture goes.
That's incredible. I mean,
that was also around the time whenever like the circuit of like independent touring started to really kick off, where like, pre mid 80s, it was a lot harder, I think, for bands to even get in a van and drive around. Mm-hmm. But a lot of hardcore and punk, Black Flag and those bands like really created a trail for bands to come through. Yeah. Which
we had an early version of that, a basement party, and it was dubbed the Decadance.
The Decadance.
The Decadance.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
The Decadance?
The Decadance.
So what,
did
can
you
tell
play?
us a little
Did you
more about
play
that?
in the basement?
It was us.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Whoever lived in the building said, let's
do it in the basement.
they were just rentals.
Okay.
They said, let's go in our basement and we'll have this.
That's it still to this day.
Dusty, dirty.
That's still what kids do to this day.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's cool.
Kids and us grown up.
What year was that?
Rockers.
1980. We may not have played a club yet. It was like one of these super early things. Yeah.
80. All right.
Yeah.
Do you recall what your first club performance was?
It was definitely Hangar 9.
Okay.
Cool.
And I think we got banned from there.
For jumping off the stage?
No, for a little bit of nudity.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Just a little.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I think that still might get you banned today.
It
so.
was.
That's
I heard about your nipple law.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty ridiculous.
Yep, it is.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. Well, not much has changed, huh?
You can get away with most things, but not that.
No. Well, don't worry. I'm keeping my clothes on Saturday.
Good. We appreciate that so that we can have, the full event.
We have to be family friendly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Times have shifted a little bit in Carbondale. We are more family friendly.
True.
Yeah.
We try to, not throw toilets off rooftops anymore. That was a story from the past Halloween, I've heard. But
oh yeah. I think it is cool. Like, to see that evolution, like to see these folks who, grew up on that kind of rowdy DIY music scene, who are family people here. Like, I'm looking at you, Adam. Like you're a punk rock family man. So to want to keep that culture and that liveliness going, but in a way that works for everybody, right? Be like, hey, I want to introduce my kids to this in a sense.
Sure.
I want my grandparents or my parents to be able to come out to this show and feed off of that energy. I think it's cool to see, and not just how it's gotten tamed down to be more palatable, but for it to evolve so that everyone can be involved, right? Like, so
well, it's also
cool.
like a relatively new form of music. Like, I mean, we're sitting here talking about the very beginnings of it, so it just never has had the opportunity to be this old yet.
Yeah, that's true.
So now, like, our first punks are getting older, so it's
Right.
inevitable that like it'll just keep going.
Yeah,